Please welcome back to the stage Nabila Rashid, joined by Equality Illinois Institute Board Chair Pat DePoy.
You know, I'm looking out over this room, and I am incredibly moved by the immense support that is shown this evening to our community, to the LGBTQ community. But, you know, those guys at the back, there was a time, or I remember it, when we weren't able to sell out the Hilton. There was a time, and I remember it, when the support for our community didn't run deep. We weren't able to stand up here and hear a future candidate for President of the United States tell us that it is okay for us to be exactly who we are and for us to love who we love. And this is where we are and this is where we belong. That wasn't that long ago. In fact, I remember a time when the LGBTQ community was considered controversial and supporting us really wasn't particularly fashionable. But even in those times, we had Danni Watts. Danni Watts was with us, and he supported us all the way.
Danni currently serves as the Vice Chairman of Breakthrough Beverage Group. In this role, he serves as a fourth-generation leader of his family's business. Danni's business leadership is much heralded throughout Chicago. He was instrumental in bringing about the merger of Wirtz Beverage with Charmer Sunbelt Group to create Breakthrough Beverage, the third largest beverage distributor in the country at the time of the merger. He serves on the executive committee of the Wine and Spirit Wholesalers of America and on the board of the United Center joint venture. But tonight, we celebrate Danni for his leadership in building Breakthrough Beverage as a company that demands LGBTQ people are treated equally, not only in his company, but throughout our country.
Yeah. You know, Danni has been with us all the way along. He has shepherded Breakthrough Beverage to be amongst the top champions and top donors of the LGBTQ community for the past 10 years. In fact, with his support and with his resilience and leadership, there has not been a single other donor that has invested more in the work of Equality Illinois than over the past decade than Breakthrough Beverage. So we asked Danni about his opinion and, you know, how he got there and how he ended up supporting us so much and so hard through these years. And humble as he is, he actually identified two particular individuals that inspired him to the depths that he supports the LGBTQ community. First was that very titan that I had the privilege and honor of standing up here with. He honored Art Johnston. When we asked Danni for a quote, Danni shared that Art helped us see the great community in joining forces with the LGBTQ community, the great opportunity of joining with our community. His advocacy has inspired us to continue with our efforts to foster an inclusive workplace and a space where all of us can succeed.
But even more so, Danni credits his sister and colleague, Hillary Wirtz, for her incredible leadership in this space. Breakthrough Beverage's core values are, quote, to be inclusive, be courageous, be passionate, and be true. Danni shares that it is Hillary's leadership as the Director of Diversity and Inclusion at Breakthrough that helps drive these values. And we at Equality Illinois are thrilled that Hillary and her wife Erin are joining us this evening.
For his willingness to put Breakthrough Beverage on the front lines of what it means to really demand equality for the LGBTQ community, for his support of our community, for his support of Equality Illinois, for his support of LGBTQ civil rights, and for his willingness to stand up for all of us, even when it wasn't easy. Equality Illinois is proud to present the 2019 Freedom Award to Danni Watts. So now we're going to move on to talk about coalitions. You know, they matter. Allies, the allies that we have in this room, the allies that we have in the community at large, they matter. And in the history of our march towards full equality in Illinois for LGBTQ rights, one of the most important allies in our fight has been the Illinois AFL-CIO and Illinois' labor movement. Justin.
The Illinois AFL-CIO represents nearly 900,000 union members in Illinois. They serve as the voice of working people across our state. In so many ways, Equality Illinois and the AFL-CIO find themselves as coalition partners working shoulder to shoulder to ensure Illinois is the most fair version of herself. In particular, the AFL-CIO has stood up for LGBTQ workers and families time and time again.
And you know, in 2016, we were at the height of the push for marriage equality. And there are many, many people in this room, and I'm going to look all out at them. I'm going to look that way. In the height for our push for marriage equality in our state, the executive board of Illinois AFL-CIO were the first to support the marriage equality bill, working its way through the Illinois House of Representatives. This was a powerful move. It was a single decision, the voice behind the Illinois labor movement, that sent a massive, massive ripple through the movement. It was such a strong signal. What did it say? It said that the rights of us, our LGBTQ people, our LGBTQ community, should be treated equally in our state. And the fact that they should deserve to be treated equally goes hand in hand with the rights of working people and the rest of the working people to be treated equally. I'm going to take another deep breath because I can hear lots of noise over there. Shh. Oh, thank you. Oh, God, I wish I had a glass up here because I would clink it. I would, but anyway. Thank you. They told me always to wait for people to be quiet, so there we go. We've had many partners in this coalition to bring about marriage equality in Illinois, but the Illinois AFL-CIO's strong support was amongst the most important in those final moments.
Since 2013, the Illinois AFL-CIO has stood up in support of LGBTQ people over and over. In 2016, they supported a resolution calling for a ban on state-funded travel to North Carolina and Mississippi should they continue to permit discrimination of LGBTQ people. This past year, they signed on in support of the Inclusive Curriculum Bill, working with Equality Illinois and a coalition of partners to help teach in support of Inclusive Curriculum Bill, working with Equality Illinois and others to help teach students in Illinois about the powerful contributions of LGBTQ people in US history.
You know, when the Illinois AFL-CIO gets behind a pro-LGBTQ issue, they're going to send you 2 strong messages, and people are going to sit up and listen. First, their support says that supporting the LGBTQ full equality isn't just good for this small LGBTQ community. It is something that is good for working families and the entire state of Illinois. And I'm going to pivot to stand over here and say the second message that they send is that they let our elected officials know that the full weight of the Illinois working families is going to be put behind this issue, and that Illinois is a pro-LGBT state. And the very fact that we are an LGBTQ state is because of the work of Illinois AFL-CIO.
On a final note, we want to specifically call out the leadership of Michael Kerrigan, president of the Illinois AFL-CIO. Michael, you are a true friend and champion, not just of Equality Illinois, but of 400,000 LGBTQ Illinoisans. We are honored to have you stand with us to fight for a more just future, and we know that we would not experience the justice we experience if it weren't for your courage and your support. So with that, on behalf of Equality Illinois, we are honored to present the Illinois AFL-CIO with our 2019 Organization Leadership Award.
Thank you. You know, they tell you to save the most stunning until last. Brian spoke to you earlier tonight about the amazing legacy which we have inherited from brave people who have come before us in this fight for our most fundamental of freedoms. And I'm proud to be joined on the stage by Raina. And we're going to stand here and we are going to honor one of the true pioneering builders of a brighter future for decades, Shannon Lynn Parker.
Shannon has been doing the work before this work was popular. Absolutely. Way before transgender issues were front and center in a dialogue on what LGBT justice should look like. Shannon, with grace and kindness, took on the responsibility to make sure that her community was fed, housed, healthy, and treated fairly. Yes! In all that she does, she is both the fiercest advocate and a gentle mother. It is true that she fights without fear to protect the transgender young people coming behind her. But she also does this with a tenderness of spirit towards those for whom she works for.
You know, it's impossible, almost impossible, for us to sum up the ways in which Shannon's leadership has had an impact on our community here in Chicago. She's fierce. Like, she was fierce before we all started using that word and throwing it around. This girl was fierce. And her fierce insistence that transgender people, and particularly transgender youth, have their full rights was instrumental in groups like Equality Illinois Howard Brown, and so many more in and around the country for us to start prioritizing the needs of the transgender community. And that's what Shannon has brought to us.
Shannon goes where their need is greatest. She just doesn't sit in an office and hope that those who most need her come to her. She goes out into the community, into the jails, to find those who need her the most. She meets them where they are. One of the things that I admire most about Shannon is her reputation. She's earned her community's trust. Her reputation precedes her. Trans people seek her out with the understanding that Shannon Parker can change your life. Yes. I know from experience, when we crossed paths deep in the heart of the west side of Chicago, engulfed by trans work, she recognized my passion. She taught me to channel that energy to help move our community forward. Thank you, Shannon Parker.
For her decades of activism, for her years of taking care of those who need her the most, for a lifetime, an absolute lifetime of courage, and for being the model of what it means to serve. I am proud and I am privileged to stand here with Equality Illinois board member Raina Ortiz to present Shannon Lynn Parker with the 2019 Freedom Award.